Welcome to Yoga Odyssey. I'm Chandar. Everyone has heard of the word yoga, but do you really know what it's about? Yoga means becoming one within the all elements of your own complex human system. More than 2000 years ago, a sage Patanjali in ancient India mapped a complete path of what this system is all about. This is the eight limbs of yoga. Eight interconnected limbs that guide us on how to treat yourself, the world around you, and all the way to inner joy and freedom. In this video, we'll walk you through each one of these eight limbs one by one. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. This is not just boring theory. These are practical tools you can use in your everyday life. So let's begin.
Classical yoga is not just physical stretching, it is a deeply integrated eight-limb architecture for human mastery, where every single branch is equally essential. We explore the limb of Yama. In the ancient Yoga Sutras, sage Patanjali anchors this branch through five universal ethics: non-violence, absolute truthfulness, non-stealing, wise use of your life energy, and non-greed. Yama simply means how you treat the world. Why does this matter? Because your internal peace is completely impossible if your external life is filled with chaos, deception, and constant conflict. Stabilizing your relationship with the world protects your internal environment. This outward harmony directly supports your internal self-discipline, which brings us seamlessly to the limb of Niyama. In classical yoga, the limb of Niyama governs your internal reality. Where the yamas stabilize your relationships with the outside world, the niyamas are five active personal disciplines to stabilize your internal systems. In the ancient Yoga Sutras, Patanjali defines this branch through five personal codes: purity of mind and body, radical contentment, self-discipline, constant self-study, and surrender to a higher purpose. Niyama simply means how you treat yourself. Why does this matter? Because you cannot build an unshakable mind if your daily habits, self-talk, and personal environment are completely fractured. Purifying your internal routine removes the psychological friction that drains your focus. This deep internal order seamlessly mirrors the physical stillness required, which brings us directly to the limb of Asana. Asana, the physical limb of yoga that the entire world loves, but it is so much deeper than a standard flexibility workout. Asana simply means a seat that connects you to the Mother Earth. In the timeless Yoga Sutras, Patanjali defines this physical branch in just three simple Sanskrit words: sthira, sukham, asanam. It translates to, your physical posture must be fundamentally steady and filled with comfortable ease and joy. Asana is not an aggressive competition to twist your body into an advanced pretzel for social validation. It is an expansive spectrum of physical expression, from an easily accessible, deeply restorative child's pose or shavasana to advanced inversions that require years of dedicated neural training. Every single variation is completely valid, because the goal is not the shape of your body, it is the stillness of your mind. Prepare your physical temple to free your awareness, master your structure, and anchor your day. Did you know? Shallow, rapid, and erratic breathing actively signals your brain that you are in constant danger, flooding your system with stress hormones and fracturing your attention span. You cannot build a steady, unshakable mind if your breathing is completely out of control. Within the integrated architecture of classical yoga, the limb of pranayama is your ultimate physiological steering wheel. It is often completely misunderstood as simple relaxation breathing. It is actually a precise biomechanical circuit breaker to regulate your autonomic nervous system. In the ancient Yoga Sutras, Patanjali defines this branch as the deliberate regulation of the inhalation and exhalation. Pranayama simply means the mastery of your vital energy. By consciously altering your respiratory rate, you mechanically govern your brain's fight or flight center. Regulate your respiration to control your cellular biology. This profound internal energy shift makes it possible to shield your mind from external distractions, which brings us seamlessly to the limb of Pratyahara. Within the integrated ecosystem of classical yoga, the limb of Pratyahara is your ultimate cognitive shield against digital noise. It is often completely misunderstood as a literal, impossible shutdown of your physical nervous system. It is actually a conscious softening of the five senses. Pratyahara means the deregulation of sensory outputs. The ultimate goal is not to escape reality, but to ensure you do not become a helpless slave to external stimuli. By deliberately softening your reaction to screens, clicks, and flashing lights, you reclaim your biological sovereignty. Why does this matter? Because you cannot protect your deep focus. If your mind is constantly being pulled apart by reactive triggers, calm the sensory gates. To open your internal power, quieten the external noise, which brings us seamlessly to single-pointed focus in the limb of Dharana. Desha Bandash Chittasya Dharana. In the classical architecture of the 8 limbs, we arrive at part 6, Dharana. Patanjali defines it with absolute precision. Desha Bandash Chittasya Dharana. This means concentration is the binding of the mind to a single point or territory. Dharana is not aggressive mental straining. It is a sophisticated act of internal boundary setting. You choose one focal anchor, the breath, a sound, a physical space, and you gently lock your awareness there. By doing so, you starve the scattered thoughts. You close the unfinished cognitive loops. You steady the outer frame, so the mind can become steady. Bind your awareness and step into your true internal power. In the classical architecture of the 8 limbs, we arrive at part 7, Dhyana. Patanjali defines it as Tatra Pratyahara Dhyanam. This means meditation is the continuous, unbroken flow of awareness toward a single point. Where dharana is the act of binding the mind, dhyana is what happens when that binding becomes effortless and steady. The effort drops away. The mind no longer jumps. Awareness simply flows, one continuous stream, from concentration into true meditation. This is dhyana. In the classical architecture of the 8 limbs, we now arrive at the final stage, Samadhi. Patanjali describes this as the state in which the meditator, the act of meditation, and the object of meditation become one. In Dharana, we bind the mind. In Dhyana, awareness flows continuously. In Samadhi, even the sense of I am meditating dissolves. You cannot force meditation. You can only become meditative. The boundary between observer and observed disappears. What remains is pure, unbroken awareness and a quiet state of internal bliss. This is not something we force. It is the natural flowering of steady and sincere practice. Samadhi is the quiet culmination of the entire path. The mind resting in its own true nature, becoming one within yourself. This is yoga.
These 8 limbs are not to be perfected overnight. They are a way of life, a way of living with some more awareness, some more honesty, and more joy. Small, consistent practice creates real change. Life is happening anyway. The clock is ticking anyway. So why not take some time to develop understanding of your own system? It is with understanding and practice you will create a better life experience for yourself and for those around you.
Thank you so much for watching. The best in me bows down to the best in you. Namaste.